There, Avi, we're live now.
Awesome.
Hi everybody. It's Ash Brown from Empiraa, the founder and CEO. We're continuing doing our Cut the Fluff series, which is a webinar directed to help advisory and consultants get the best value out of their consultancy, to understand everything from how to grow their consultancy, how to brand their consultancy, how to maximize their revenue. It's not about what we do. It's not about like how we help consultants feel better about what they're doing by getting better vision and accuracy around their data in strategies. It's about actually providing value and bringing industry experts into different sectors, into the consulting sector, to allow them to give them more tools in the Swiss Army knife of their consultancy. So this week we've got Elevate Your Reputation, the power of awards in consulting. Everyone loves an award, because as soon as you jump on LinkedIn, everyone's won an award for something. And our guest today is the absolute engineer of this and a champion of this industry for it. And it's Karen Hall from Reputation by Design.
Hey, Ash, how are you? It's lovely to join you today.
Good. This is a nice sunny day. Everyone bags Melbourne, but it's actually sunny today, so it's a good one. So, yeah, Karen, love to hear about who is Karen Hall and what is Reputation by Design.
Yeah, cool. So we started the business 10 years ago. We are a specialist reputation marketing agency. So we don't do everything in marketing, but we do help our customers and our clients grow their reputation proactively. So obviously everyone has a reputation, every business has a reputation, but really importantly, you can proactively build that. So rather than just leave it to chance, you can proactively build that. And one of the ways, Ash, that you've touched on to do that is that you can enter and win awards. So awards bring a lot of trust, a lot of credibility, and a lot of social proof when you win or even become a finalist in an award. And I think we're going to touch on that later. So we started specialising in this about 9 years ago, when a client said to us, hey, I want to enter these awards. And my background is marketing communications, and particularly with services marketing businesses. So Ford Motor Company, Virgin Money, Westpac, and Ray White. And I went, I think I can do this. And so we won his award, and then we won lots of other awards. And over time, we've just specialised in that. And it's super fun, because every time we win an award for a client, we feel like we've won as well. So,
yeah,
it's really, really fun. And we get to meet the most interesting people around the world.
I was going to say, how many awards have you won? If you're,
we're close to 1,000 now. Almost 1,000, I think. Yeah.
1,000 awards
as well. Yeah. It's and as you said, there's an award for most things in the world. The only one I've really ever struggled with is pet products. So
yeah. Oh, there you go. I think I won Student of the Week in grade 3, and that was about it. So that was, and a few participation awards, but I think they were more pity than anything else. It's a really interesting topic, awards, and especially with consultancy and advisory, because like if I'm a client and I'm looking for a consultant or an advisor to help me grow my business, having that social proof of awards always helps. It's almost like when you look at bottles of wine, they've got these gold stars and that type of stuff. So I'd love to hear about, like, have you done much work with consultants, advisory firms before? What's the best practice? How do you go about it? It's really interesting area, like really interesting.
Yeah, so we do a lot of work with professional services, businesses and individuals and business owners anyway. So across that remit, but consultants, coaches, mentors, the whole gamut of that. You can throw in accountants and you can throw in lawyers and everything else. But yeah, particularly for consultants, it goes for all professional services businesses, but awards can increase your revenue. So research says awards can increase your revenue up to 63% versus non-award-winning businesses. And that long tail can last for up to 5 years. So we don't suggest that you enter one award and then leave it 5 years to enter the next award, because that is quite aged by then, but it can support your business revenue for up to 5 years. And if you've got a team as well, then the team motivation can increase by 88%. And we've seen this firsthand. So when we win an award, our team is so excited to be part of that. They know that they are part of that. But also they're very, very proud to work for an award-winning business. And that's often the feedback that we get from our clients as well. So that team motivation can increase by 88% if you're working for an award-winning business. On the other side of the coin, an award-winning business is more attractive to top talent versus a non-award-winning business as well. The other feedback that we get from clients is that it can shorten the sales cycle. So if you're an award-winning business, and you do have to tell people that, so you do have to put it all over your website, your email signatures, in your email marketing, etc., then it can shorten the sales cycle for your clients, because there's some inherent tacit trust built into that. So yes, they're hearing from you and your pitch, your proposals, etc., but that award badge, as you said, just like on the bottles of wine that have won or become a finalist as well, that's really important. There's some built-in trust in that, and that trust comes along the journey as you are, proposing to them as well.
So it almost creates almost like an urgency that if I don't accept this, that someone else is like, I'm missing out on an opportunity versus the usual. I'm just speaking to them, I can drag them on, because Australia is probably notorious for long sales cycles compared to like the US and that.
Yeah, it's more trusted, so it takes away a barrier to saying yes, because there is that that trust there. The research also says that trusted brands can command, are 7 times more likely to command a premium price. So consultants will always want to get the maximum price they can for their services, and benefit from 6 times the customer loyalty. So 7 times premium price, likely to command a premium price. Didn't say you can put your prices up 7 times.
By 7 times, that'd be good, isn't it?
That's not what I'm
$2,500 an hour, not bad. That's lawyer money, that is.
Yeah. And 6 times the customer loyalty. So imagine if you can keep your clients longer, you don't have the sales cost of going out and getting more clients all the time. So huge benefits in that regard. And certainly, again, our clients tell us that, but we sense that in terms of the repeat business when our clients are winning awards too.
So if I'm sitting there and I'm like, what's the best way to, because like for me right now, I look at it, and in the startup space, you've got the startup awards, startup daily, and various others. But then in a consulting one, what's the best way to find the awards? Because to be honest, I hear people win awards all the time, and to be honest, sometimes you get the pay for play awards, like you get email. I get email every week, I reckon. We'll do a feature on the magazine I've never heard of. And we'll put you a finalist as Asia's top entrepreneur, which is definitely not the case, but it's one of those things. So how do you sort of decipher, and how do you sort of filter through, okay, well, this award realistically is BS, and this one's actually going to enhance my reputation, because that is a significant, because people can win awards for anything.
Yeah, it is a great question. So first of all, you can try Google and find the awards. So you can do business awards for consultants. That's the hard way of doing it. We offer a free awards plan, so there's no obligation. Free awards plan. It's just where you spend 10 minutes on the phone with each client, and we find out what they want to be known for. That's the key question. So what they want to be known for, which kind of leads into how they will leverage the award. They'll be a finalist or winner for, and because that leverage is where the value is, right? So yes, you can win the award, but the leveraging in terms of the title of the award is super, super important. We've got a database of over 9,500 awards and categories, so local, national, and international. And you can definitely become an international award winner, even if you work nationally here in Australia. And it's kind of my superpower. I love doing it. So we offer that free of charge, no obligation. And, obviously, if you're so impressed by that, we'd love you to use our services as well, but it is no obligation. That's the easy way to do it. And you can also try Claude or another kind of AI tool as well. It's a little bit hit and miss, but it'll give you a good sort of starting point. So there's 3 ways in: Google, worst; Claude, second best; and we can do your personalized awards plan, and we can share the details of that. So that's 9,500 awards that we will tailor down to probably maybe half a dozen awards for you that will suit you and what you're looking for in an award.
So if I'm a business consultant, I come to you and I say, okay, well, we've got, we've had marginal growth over the last 2-3 years. We've been able to sort of reduce our tech stack, which is great. That's given us that, but we're just not getting the rates or the quality of customer, because that sometimes can be the problem as well. Sometimes, and I'm saying customers are, you've got A graders, B graders, and C graders, and then you've got some that you won't touch with a 50-foot pole. So you sort of, and so I'd come to you and say, hey, look, this is what I want to do. So you're really you deep dive on sort of what their purpose is as well, I'd imagine. Is that right?
Purpose, and what their point of difference is. So, what they're really, really good at, what they stand out for in the consultant space, and what they want to be known for as well. So those things usually cross over a lot.
So this is different from personal branding, obviously, because this is more of a niche of the awards that sort of the win awards that sort of go with personal branding, I suppose, as well. Like it's a sort of ride side by side. Would that be right? Or am I a bit off base?
You can enter as an individual, or you can enter as a business. Some people do both as well, and the attribution will flow both ways, to be honest. There was a recent Forbes article that mentioned that 49 a company's reputation is attributed 49% to the directors or the CEO's reputation. So if you think of Elon Musk, that's a classic example right now.
A lot of people selling Teslas.
Or being very disturbed by being a Tesla owner. I've got friends like that, and then they very clearly state, I bought it before he went cray. But so intrinsically, me as a director, my brand, it represents the brand of my company. So some people will enter as an individual because they really want to, elevate that. Some people will enter as a business because they just want to stay, but a little bit behind the scenes. But there is crossover. Whichever way you enter, there will be attribution flowing both ways.
Yeah. So, if I'm looking at it, so one of the issues with being Australian is the ability to get knocked down pretty quickly when you win awards. Like it's just a national trait. Oh yeah, what a flog! He's won this or he's won that. So how do I? So just say I win an award, whatever, best beard and whatever in consulting, and someone turns around and go, and then how do I promote it without actually that fine line between promoting the award that you've won and using the value of it versus, moving into, territory where you're almost trolling people with how much you want. You know what I mean? Because it is a delicate, especially in Australia, like America, it's probably a little bit different. It's more celebrated, but I think culturally in Australia, it can be sort of, you get the congratulations, but if you keep winning awards, like, oh, come on, show it off now.
Yeah. Look, I think you'd be pleasantly surprised by the people that celebrate you.
Good.
All of our clients get, they'll do, posts on social media and get, this much kind of, traction and engagement. And then they do an awards post. And even if they've won multiple times, and their engagement and the celebrations just go like off the Richter scale. So I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And that is across the board, and we're literally entering hundreds of awards every quarter for clients. So there's not been an exception to that. So a busy month for us might be 80 awards a month. If every one of those who gets a finalist and a winner, that they are so celebrated. There might be some people behind the scenes saying, "What is she doing when winning again?"
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
publicly, they're so celebrated. And again, like normal traction, awards, recognition, and
Yeah.
engagement. It's just I can't even it's like this.
Yeah.
Um, and as long as, to your point earlier, as long as the award is qualified and it's a bona fide award, I think the benefits of that will far outweigh any negativity, multiple times. It's when you get into the pay-to-play awards or the awards where the industry knows they're a bit, on the nose,
Yeah.
that people will question it. And those pay-to-play awards, we stay away from them totally. We don't
Yeah.
recommend them to our clients at all, but they're very, very easy to identify. So a good award, we will qualify by, it's not pay-to-play. We will look up the organiser and see that they are bona fide organisers. We'll look at the past winners, and we will look at the how much publicity they offer as a benefit to the winners and the finalists as well, and what their digital profile is like as well. So there are certainly Australian awards that don't qualify on one or a number of those criteria, and we just don't cover off. Even if they're not pay to play, they might just not meet all of those other criteria that we set, and
Yep.
again, we don't offer those. We don't recommend those to our clients. And similar, there's some international awards that don't meet those criteria for us.
And the main reason I ask that is because that's actually a real big stopper for people to actually, like, "Oh, if I go and put myself out there and I try," like, it's hard enough when you're an entrepreneur or you're a consultant or you're doing something, because you're constantly putting yourself out there. That's and if you've got a business, that's life, right? You just punching your way through, just
Yeah.
putting yourself out there. Criticism, like, at that point, who cares about criticism, right? But it's probably that thing going, like, it's probably more like, how does, like, if you're a consultant going, how do I make that leap? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what would be some tips there for yourself? What are sort of 3 tips that if I'm considering doing it, what are the 3 sort of things I should really consider before I sort of make that thing and sort of park the ego a little bit, I suppose?
In terms of promoting it?
Yeah, but also, like, making that leap to go, "Okay, I actually wanna invest in winning awards because I know it has these tangible effects to my business." Because a lot
Yeah.
of, honestly, it's the Australian way in some regards where we sort of go, "Oh, I don't really wanna do that." It seems, like, but it's actually like the stats that you were saying earlier are just super valuable. Like,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, one thing is, it might be an Australianism, and I'm sure, just like get out of your own way and get out of your own head around that. The stats, we've seen them hold true for so many businesses, ours included, but um, base your thinking on facts, not
Yep.
feelings. So the metrics around the return on investment are there. Put the feelings aside. There is always a way to promote your nomination, finalist, and win that is not icky. And you
Yes.
do that according to your personal brand and your business brand. So if your personal brand and your business brand is a little bit low key, and even if it's self-deprecating, then do that in a way that suits that brand. If it's really brash, then do that in a way that's brash and go, "I knew I was going to win this award," but do it in a way that is right for your brand. Don't be brash when your brand is shy. Stick to that brand tone, and there are always ways to do that well. So I think it's a matter of making fact-based decisions, not feeling-based decisions. I do say to my clients that when it's appropriate, kind of get out of your own way. Or the other way to say that is, there is nothing to lose, like literally nothing. It's all upside. And the point about that is that, as well as entering, say we write, say the entry is 2,000 words. You've got all of that incredible 2,000 words of content to leverage then back into your marketing. So every award entry will ask for things like case studies and metrics and stories and things that are really positive about your business, because we're selling your business to the judges, really. So it's a bit of a PR story. So as well as going forward for the award, we're collecting all this incredible data and stories and case studies about your business that you can then leverage back into your marketing. So imagine blogs, social media content, email marketing content, proposal content, website content, the list goes on and on and on. And you get that for free. That's just a side of it. So oftentimes, if we're writing even a shorter award entry for someone, they'll get 10 pieces of content back into their marketing for very, little or no effort. As upside. So there is literally not, and you'd be paying for that money for a content writer anyway. So there's no downside. So facts, no downside. You can very easily, and I can help if I can guide anyone that needs help on that in terms of getting the ick out of promoting that. We've had every single client from, I just want to be under the radar, but I know this is good for my business, enter, through to I'm the king of the world, I'm literally Donald Trump, kind of enter. So we've dealt with everyone. And those would be my kind of top tips in terms of, I just think, why it's good for business. It makes good business sense. We do so many other things that are good for our business.
Yeah.
This is just another one that makes business sense.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Like, I think sometimes people get funny about self-nomination versus being nominated.
Of course.
That's probably a big one. Like, there's so many awards these days where if you do self-nominate, people sort of look the nose down and they go, "Hang on, why wouldn't you put your hand up for something?"
And who's going to know?
Yeah. Well, that's probably true too. Like, it's like,
Who
I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw one recently. Actually, someone posted on LinkedIn, "Oh, I didn't know who voted for me, but thank you, blah blah blah." And I said, "I know the person. They probably voted for themselves, but good post, though." So, just a quick one. So, like, obviously, if I'm going to start working my way into the journey, so like I'm a consultant, I've sat there and I've come across this on live webinar, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, and I've sat there and I've gone, I've never really considered like investing in my reputation effectively by winning awards. What are things that I could probably start doing now before like I sort of jump into the world of a winning award winning with you guys?
Yeah, so definitely. So awards usually look backwards at the last 12 months. Some international awards certainly look back at the last 2 years or even 3 years. So start collecting those achievements. So, in business, we're always kind of like, okay, well, I've ticked that task off or that strategic goal. I'll get on to the next thing. And we never like write down the achievement that we've just done. So to keep a log of all your achievements, because to think back even a year as to what what you've achieved in the business or how the business has changed when you're writing a submission, by the time you get to write a submission, is a lot to go, okay, well, what the heck did I do in January? Or if we're writing an award for the financial year that's just about to close in June, what did I do last May? Oh, like last July? I can't remember what I did last weekend. So start a note or a Google Doc or something, every time the business has a big win or a small win, or so that's one thing. Second thing is case studies. So client case studies of results. You should be doing this in the business anyway, but we know a lot of businesses don't. So start writing those up, collecting them, getting the data from your clients about the impact that you've had on their business. So why did they come to you? what was the problem they came to you with? What did you do for them? And what was the result? Because the more of those that we can put into an awards entry, the better. And the more substantiation we have around your results, the better. So that impact side of it. And being really clear on how you are unique versus your competitors is the other really, really big thing. So supporting evidence around that. So what you do differently to your competitors, and how can we substantiate that, is another tip that I would say. Going into award writing is really, really important.
Yeah. It's funny. I think as business owners, we're all really horrible at reflecting and taking down the wins. We tend to sort of on to the next, on to the next, on to the next, on to the next, and
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
you don't really pay. And especially if, like, if you're a consultant, because then you are kind of fast moving, because you're sort of moving from client to client, and so you're talking to a plumbing company one day, then you're talking to a prop tech company the next day, then you're
Yes.
talking. So you've got these, you're juggling a million different balls to actually stop and
Yep.
go, well, actually, holy crap, I've had a 10% revenue increase in that business there. I've been able to reduce their operating cost by this. I've been able to help them, grow their business. Like, they're the
Yep.
sort of stories I'd imagine that you're best to put together.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely perfect. So yeah, and having just a working document of those, because you can go back, I guess, to your client lists over time, but the more aged they are, the less detail you're going to be able to collect or just remember over time. Whereas at the time, it's very, visceral. It's very, it's there to draw on.
So almost like if you have an achievement, just have that note or the Google Doc ready to go. Just go,
bring it open
bang.
and go. And even if it's just a bullet point, it's just a memory jogger. Yep.
Yeah, that's and what's common mistakes? So, like, what's the big one where someone comes to you and goes, "Oh, I want to win, I don't know,
Yeah.
AFR
So
Fast Riser or whatever."
yeah, choosing the wrong award to enter. So where you haven't understood the qualifying criteria, or that you're not exactly the right fit for that, and some of your competitors might be. So that's the first one. Leaving it till the last minute. Classic.
Yeah.
Yep. Not answering the questions. So this is the number. It's a weird one, but it's the number one bugbear of judges. And some of our team have been judges before, so people will skirt around the question because it's a
Yeah.
hard question, or it's multifaceted. So there'll be 3 questions in one, and they'll answer the first part of the question and not the other 2.
Yeah.
It seems so obvious, but it's not. It's the number one bugbear of judges, and they're not substantiating claims. So we grew our customer care team last year. Well, by how much? So really substantiating that, and then supplying supporting evidence. So usually with an award, you're allowed some supporting documents. Some people get lazy and they don't provide those supporting documents. We've got an amazing team that, if you're allowed 10 attachments, we always provide those 10 attachments, and we do them up in a beautiful presentation document, because we want the judges to know that we care enough to provide every single one of those 10 documents. And they might be media mentions, testimonials, photos at events, that kind of thing. But we want the judges to know we're serious about the submission, and therefore we've gone that extra mile to give you 10 out of 10.
So it's almost like where, like, you could write, like with grant writers, effectively, like you can sit there and write the grant yourself, but you're really shortening the runway of actually getting it accepted. Where having someone like yourself who's a specialized, or your reputation by design is specialized in actually being able to go, okay, well, I know what they want. I know how to get it. If you're going to do it, you've got to invest in it.
Yeah, it's being all in, I think.
Yeah.
And those mistakes that we've just talked about, so leaving it to the last minute, not being really clear on the exact right award, just reduces your chances a little bit.
Yeah, that makes sense. Any emerging trends you're noticing that's happening in the industry regarding awards and recognition? Is it spiking
Yeah.
up? Is it? Yeah.
So certainly, and around the consultant space as well, sustainability and ESG questions cropping up more and more and more. DEI questions,
Yep.
except in the US.
Yeah.
They're still in a lot of Australian award entries now. So, how are the consultants, businesses tackling DEI? Do they have DEI policies, etc.? There are certainly a lot more virtual and hybrid awards ceremonies now, kind of post-pandemic. And you've already touched on it really, really well, but there's definitely an increased scrutiny or awareness of award credibility. So, the really premier awards versus the pay-to-play, or the less premier awards out there. So just being aware and doing all those checks and balances before you enter an award, just to make sure it is going to put you in really good standing when you win it, and that you're really proud to promote it.
It's probably a interesting one, especially this day and age with social media. And is it important to make sure your socials are clean? And what I mean by that is that you find that some people we're in a pretty highly charged environment these days, where you've got sides and opinions, whether they're right or wrong. That's not for us to decide or to be adjudicated right now. But is it best to sort of make sure that you've got a clean shop in that regards? If they do a Google search, they don't see that you've done not a Kanye West, but like something that's underneath that, because that's pretty extreme. But you know what I mean? Like, just to make sure that you're putting yourself in a position where you're not sort of tarnishing their brand.
100%. It's such a great question, because we always recommend to our clients that their socials and their entire online presence, so their website, everything, is always up to date, because the judges can, and they definitely will, go online, so offline from the entry to online to Google you, see what appears. So you don't want them to go onto LinkedIn and your last post was 3 years ago. You don't want them to go on Facebook and see something that is a bit dubious, and that particularly goes against what you're saying in your entry. So if you're spouting DEI, and then you have something that's that goes against
On the edge.
the policies that you've just talked about, then that's not going to be a good look, and they have every right to. I mean, it's a little bit like asking a jury to discard what they've just seen, because it's not in the entry, but you've left an impression.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I know, even like with in the investor world these days, that they'll sit there and they'll do a bit of a deep dive and go on your Twitter or X, whatever we call it this week, and Instagram and whatever else, and just and just to make sure that this person is who they say they're going to be. I find it amazing, actually, that if you've got a business or whatever, and you're trying to put yourself in a position of thought leadership, and then some people spew some idiocy.
Really random stuff. Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. So first of all, make sure it's all up to date, and secondly, make sure it is in accordance with your brand, for sure.
And probably the last one, which is a big one, is, can you give us a really good example of someone that's come along and they've walked in, they've called you up, said, "Karen, I want to win awards," and how it's transformed their business? Because it's a really a good case study, is especially consulting firms, to understand. Okay, well, it's easy to say, "Oh, we'll win your awards," but it'd be great to hear an actual case study of one.
Yeah, well, we just talked about the power of case studies before, didn't we? And making sure you gather them as you go. So we had a consulting firm in the US who was at VC funding stage when we met them, and they were also actually struggling to find really good talent to join their business. And so one of the things that awards are good for is to retain, but also attract good top talent. So we won 18 awards for them in 2 years, and it obviously elevated their business, but they went on to be sold to another company. So that was a really, really good win for them. And they didn't disclose how much it was for, but I believe it was for a shit ton of money. That's at the kind of really big end of town. At the kind of smaller end of town, we had a consultant out of Hawaii, and this is particularly for your female consultants, I guess, who might be at that end of kind of imposter syndrome. My business isn't big enough, I'm not good enough. We often hear, my business will be better next year. So she had a real imposter syndrome around her business. It was a smaller business. So she's out of Hawaii. Her Australian business coach actually said to her, you have to enter this award, and kind of like really corralled her into doing it. She finally said yes. She relented and said yes, and she won a gold international award. She feels so much better about her business now. So it's changed her mindset about her business, and she's going to enter a second award. But in terms of the reason she's going to enter a second business award is because of the impact it's had on her business in terms of, mindset and business, I'm going to say. So she feels a lot more confident about her business and herself, but the business benefits of that have come out of that. Another client that I can think of who did a really, really good job of leveraging the award. So again, you can win an award and tell no one, and nothing's going to happen. But he did a really, really good job of leveraging his award through his website, social media, LinkedIn, email marketing as well, and WhatsApp, and also when it's appropriate, he would mention it on the phone. And he described his award as liquid gold for his business. And I won't forget that because it was such a cool phrase. And the reason he said that was it just turned on the tap for inquiries, but also conversions for him.
Yeah.
So in terms of converting clients a lot quicker, but a lot easier as well. And that's why he coined the phrase liquid gold. It's just been liquid gold for my business. And he's entering more awards now because of that, because he's gone on, where's my next one? It's
a bit addictive.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate social proof, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. And it honestly, it can be addictive. Hence the consulting firm who won 18 in 2 years. Like the CEO of that company was like, where's my next drug? Where's my next drug? So it doesn't have to be, is what I'm saying.
No, that's awesome.
So there's three examples in the consulting space. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Well, Karen, it was great to sort of have a chat just about how branding and around consulting and branding your reputation for awards is just such an important part of consulting, how it can really help you grow your business fast. There's so many good takeaways there. There's so many things that I can look at it and go, this is it's actually far more important than people actually think. So
and far more easy, I think, as well. So it can be a fast track. And for consultants, I'd also like, if it fits the consulting recommendations, if they need a brand uplift, you can recommend or nominate your clients as well as a way to recognize them.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, especially like if you're working with real estate agents, that sort of stuff, that awards really sort of help close the deals. So this is absolutely brilliant, Karen. Where is the best way to find Reputation by Design and yourself?
Yeah, so reputationbydesign.com. Easy, or Karen at reputationbydesign.com. Either way, you can also, from either of those, book in a free discovery call. We can do that free awards plan. Again, it's no obligation. It's my way of letting people know how easy it is the importance of finding the right awards, and just how many amazing awards there are out there that can set you up well. Because if you're receiving them reactively, as you said right at the top of this, you don't know if they're the best awards, and you don't know necessarily if they are the premium awards. So it's sort of our job. It's incumbent on us to educate people in terms of the whole breadth and scale of those, and just to find the best towards that sets up people right at the start. So that's the strategy piece of it for us.
Perfect. No,
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant chat, Karen. Really was. It was, it helped. Yeah, yeah, I'm probably gonna have a bit of a chat to you offline in a few weeks, so
Love to
it's
help.
good. So,
Yeah.
no, no, thanks once again, and looking forward to, hearing more, and hopefully we've been able to help out, and, once again, if you need to learn more about Empiraa, go to empiraa.com or find us on LinkedIn, and, yeah, thanks very much, and we'll speak soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye.